wasting no time, y'all. We got CISO. Let me check audio. Audio check, mic check. Y'all can hear me. Left. I'm not just doing left and right screen. I mean left and right audio. I'm sorry. I'm all jacked up today. Yesterday, I tried to go live, and it was nothing but left channel. So can someone confirm that we got more than just the left channel? We got the right channel as well. Hopefully. Audio is in mono audio. What's up? What's up, Crown? What's up, Crown? What's up, Nav? Welcome in. Welcome in. We're talking about cybersecurity. And have you ever heard of a CISO? Have you ever heard of a CISO? What's up, Nelly? Have you ever heard of a Chief Information Security Officer? Well, if you work for any enterprise environment, you certainly have one, or maybe even two. But today, we're going to be interfacing with a veteran in the space. We have Jerry Bell as the special guest coming through. Gon- He's going to be chatting with us. You can ask him questions. You can interface with him. You can come up. You can ask him bozo questions. Ask excellent questions. What's up, Busy? Welcome in. What's up, the Shell Marie? Welcome in. Welcome in. Can y'all hear me? Audio check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. What's up, Busy? What's up? What's up? What's up? What y'all think? What y'all think? Yeah, everyone ever aspire to be a CISO? I mean, we keep hearing like these horror stories of these are the fall guys, these are the guys that, or these are the individuals that where all the weight of the security falls on. We're, anyone have aspired to be this role? I do. I do. It's not today. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. But it is in my future. And we have a not me. We have a CISO coming through, and I think that he's not currently a CISO. He used to be, and he's been there, done that. He's probably retired at this point. Been there, done that. So many different years in the space. I'm a senior systems engineer. That's dope. That's dope. Hey, with that senior systems engineer, I think I remember you coming to the live, and you share security responsibilities, right? It's not just you as the main, or I think you might have said you have a security. You also have a security like a department as well. So while you share responsibilities, um, that's what I'm saying. Like you're called a senior systems engineer, but you're wearing multiple hats. While it may not be your full responsibility, you are holding the bag for security initiatives. So I've seen that in smaller environments. We see that. What's up, Cyber Secrets? What's up, your ex lover? I am Patrick. Chocolate Pieces. Y'all welcome in uh, Malium. Welcome in. Welcome in. Sock Hoggage. This is going to be a good one, y'all. What's up, Cyber Secrets? This is going to be a good one. If y'all want to come up and interface with Jerry Bell, he will be in the building. I'm just warming up the room. You know how I like to do it. Just warming up the room a little bit, getting folks in so that way we have a good turnout. If you know some folks that aspire to be a CISO one day, or maybe they don't even know it, but you see it on them, you see that leadership within them, go ahead and forward this out to them. Send this out to them and get them in the room, get them in the conversation. What's up, Matt J? Welcome in, welcome in. What's up, bro? I have my CompTIA certificate. I am trying to get my first cybersecurity job. It's hard. Which CompTIA? Which CompTIA cert? Which CompTIA cert? That matters. That matters. Um, or maybe it won't. Maybe it doesn't. Security Plus, fantastic. Security Plus, that's amazing. Good work. So you can talk cybersecurity. You can talk basic security, and probably more than just basic. You probably are comfortable. How do you feel if you were to get into an interview today? Not today at this hour, but literally today. If you had an interview, how do you think that you'll do? How are your interviewing skills? Because you said it's hard. So I don't know at what point it's hard for you, whether that's uh, trying to get to the interview, or I don't feel advanced to pass an interview right now. This is my point, man. this is my point, is that there's a mindset shift. And I see the special guest just walked into the building. Take your time getting here, no rush. I'll pull you up here, and we're gonna have a great time talking today. Patrick just mentioned he doesn't feel advanced to pass an interview right now, but yet he has a security plus, and he knows that he's gonna break into cybersecurity. When Jerry Bell gets up here, Patrick, I need you to come chat with us, bro. Come chat with us. Let's get this figured out. Jerry is a veteran and has knowledge. And one time he came to the live, and I said something about culture, and he latched on to it, and he was speaking to his experience and his hiring as a hiring manager in that position, and culture was a big deal. So while you're saying that you're not you wouldn't, you don't feel advanced enough to pass the interview. Sometimes you may have the best culture fit, and that may make up for some of your, mindset shift of, not feeling advanced enough. You may already be ready. So I would look into that mindset shift. Look into that. So, yep. Culture. So when y'all come up here, I need y'all to be on your A game today. Today's a really good day for you to speak with someone who has so many years of experience, so many different perspectives and insights that he can share, that he will share. He's completely transparent, but I need you to bring your A game questions. What's up, MG and IT? Previous guest came through. He's a two timer. MG and IT is a two timer. He came and did the battle, degrees versus certifications. Ah, They some say the certs got it that day, but I heard others say that the degrees got it that day because MG and IT held it down. He held his ground. I don't see Nigel in the building, but Nigel was throwing some haymakers, but MG and IT was not letting up. He was not letting up. He came with tremendous information and positioning. What's up, Curtin AI? I see you over there. Welcome in, welcome in. Appreciate everyone showing up. Get Pond, Dan X, Cyber Expat. No, I'm just playing. That's me. That's my. This is me doing some testing. Uh, Cyber Secrets. All right, I think it's time, y'all. Let's get the special guest up. Let me switch up the scene, and we'll get this party started. We'll get this party started. All right, you got a request coming through, Jerry. Oh, malicious link. Ooh, what's this all about? Malicious link. I don't know where we're gonna get y'all. I see a new name. It's a malicious link. I'll be right back. TikTok decided I don't need to hear anymore. Okay, y'all can still hear me, right? Y'all can still hear me. Mic check. Mic check. Let me get an audio check. Someone give me. What's up, Meow? Future guest coming through. Future guest coming through. Let me see. Yeah, I got audio. I got audio. So Jerry will be back, and let me get you up here, Meow. What's up, man?
Yo,
Yep. How you doing? How you doing?
doing pretty well.
Cool.
Just chilling.
Have you ever aspired to be a CISO?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Uh, couldn't say I have.
What
I
about?
like more hands-on.
Okay. So it's never. It won't be any cards that you would play or any hand that you'll take part in. But why though? Why? Why is that? Why is that? Let's talk about it.
What, for me not being a CISO or Chief Information Security Officer?
Yeah.
Um, whole bunch of responsibility and paperwork. I don't like paperwork. Nobody does.
Fair. Fair.
I mean, as a red teamer, I have to write reports, on exploits and all that stuff, but, I can just use it's pretty straightforward. I just do A, B, C. A leads to B, leads to C. C, I pivoted to D, and then from D, I moved to F, G, and H. You
Nice,
know,
nice.
whereas CISO, what I'm gonna have to do is like, oh, Bobby Jones, the CEO. Here's what we need to do with this, this, and this because this is and this. And the majority of the time, they're not going to understand what I'm talking about. So they're just going to be like, I don't think so, my dude. So
I
if
got
it
you.
costs money, I'm not going to do it.
I got you. I got you. I just sent another request to Jerry. He is on the way. Everyone, I see he came back into the room. Jerry, you should see a request, some sort of invite on your end. And if you don't, uh, tap the. Hmm, I think it's the little the two-person icon at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So why'd you ask the question if I ever thought about being a CISO?
Well,
Just a random.
no, it was the topic for today. We have Jerry Bell
Oh,
here, and he's gonna chat with us about his experiences, his exposure, his world that he's seen over the years, and we want to learn. We want to learn more, and so just to keep it on topic, you know, I know I aspire to be one day, not today, not tomorrow. I still have some learning, and I still want to learn, and keep growing, keep growing. Hold on, let me see if I can send another invite.
I got you. I mean, maybe down the line, when I get bored of, building exploits and all that stuff.
It's not for everyone.
Which, yeah.
Not for everyone. He said he's trying. I see he's trying. We'll give it a moment, everyone. Apologize for the delays. We're gonna get started. Let's get some participation in the chat. Who? Let's just see. Put a one in the chat if you know what CISO stands for. CISO. If you know what that stands for, you know every letter of the acronym. Put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you know. Let's get some feedback. Okay. Okay. I see you, MG and IT. I see you. I see you. One in the chat if you know what CISO stands for. CISO. Okay, I see you. We got some knowledgeable folks in here. We got some knowledgeable folks. I'm gonna try again, Jerry. If you can hear me, I'm gonna send the request one more time. Or I'll probably try more than once. But Meow, how in your work have you encountered the CISO? If so, what's some of the interactions been like?
Well, in my work, when I worked with a government contractor here and there, yeah, I would interface with them quite a bit. I mean, I kind of acted as the middle point in between. Um, so making security decisions for the operations and stuff like that to make sure that, mesh networking setup, people, we're not going to get pawned um, because somebody has SSH exposed or they didn't implement fail to ban properly or any of that stuff. But, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hey,
information, ISSO.
yeah, hang out with us. You may have some good questions for Jerry, or even some feedback. And I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. He's in the building. He is in the building. So no worries there. He'll be up here, and he said, "Try one more time. Try one more time." All right. Let's see.
Technical difficulties in a tech chat. Who would have thought, huh?
I know. Let's reboot this thing.
Turn it off and turn it right back on.
You know what? That might be the move. I'm gonna give it one more whirl. Um, if if I have troubles, and I am definitely going to do that. All right. Right now it just shows that I let me refresh. Let me see. Yeah. Hey, let's reboot, y'all. I'm gonna reboot and then I'm gonna get Jerry up here. Just come back in like 10 seconds, everyone. I'm gonna reboot the live.
All
Reboot
right,
the
I got it.
live. If you're over there on YouTube, we are having technical difficulties. I'm rebooting the live. I'm gonna restart the live, but um, so just bear with me. We are going to get Jerry in the building. We're trying, y'all. We're trying. It's just some technical difficulties delaying us a little bit. They don't want the topic. They don't want the topic. They don't want the special guest. They don't want the special guest to come through. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't have answers. All I know is that I'm gonna give it another try. I'm gonna give it another try. Can't quit. We don't quit. We don't stop. We don't quit. We don't stop. The CISO life. It's the CISO life. All right. We don't quit. We don't stop. We don't stop, but we don't quit. Get this party rolling. Uh, what's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? We're going to get the special guest in the building. We're going to get them in. Don't worry about that. Let's see. Let's get us audio check. Audio check. Audio check. Mic check. Mic check. All right. Mic check. Mic check is good. Let me see if I can get Jerry up. All right. I just sent the invite, Jerry. Get on the lookout. All right. You should see it. You should see something pop up on your side. What's up, DJ BSEC? Welcome in. Welcome in. Let me see if I can get Jerry up here. I see you, Meow. Let me see if I can get Jerry first. Hang out with us. All right, we're trying again, y'all. Trying again. Okay, you can hear me. You can hear me. What's up, Cyber Secrets? Welcome in. Welcome in. We're trying this reboot thing. Uh, I sent the invite, Jerry, but why don't you try to tap the the little two silhouettes to the left of the rows at the bottom of the screen. Try that, and I should see your request come through. Okay, I see you joined. Hang in there with me, y'all. Hang in there with me. I know we're close. We're close. I see it bounced out the room real quick. What's up, Nigel? Welcome in. Welcome in. Talking about the CISO. Oh, you're not seeing it. You don't have the. He doesn't have the button. Hmm. Why would he not have the button? That's interesting. I don't think it's you. What's up, man? What's up? What's up? We're trying to get Jerry up here. We're gonna get Jerry up here. Um, why would he not be able to join? He's joined before. Hold on. Let me try Plan B. Let's go with Plan B. Plan B is let me configure something differently. All right, Jerry. See if you can in the center of the screen tap one of those requests to request up. There it is. There it is. Had to fight with him. Hey, what's up, Jerry?
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But hey, I don't know, and I don't care. How you doing?
Sorry about that. It literally
I don't think
was
it was
not giving
you.
me anything.
I don't think it was you. But I just changed a little bit of the format here. Let me see if I can switch a couple of things back. All right,
What
cool. All right, we got.
once you did whatever you did, I was able to see the what I normally see.
Nice, nice. Hey, before,
Now,
yep, yep.
why am I not? I gotta figure out why my camera's not on now.
You don't have to. It's up to you. Completely optional. All right, we got the
There we
man,
go.
we got the myth, we got the legend in here. Let me get some cheers and all that going for you, man. welcome in, welcome in. You're a friendly. You're a friendly. You've been here a couple times, more than a couple times, and you've also participated and chatted with us and dropped some nuggets and gems. So we appreciate you. Any time that you show up, we know what time it is. We know it's go time. How you doing today?
Awesome. Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So I have a couple of quick questions for folks, and I want to let some people up to also ask some questions. But first, can you just give people the rundown, just the background, what we're talking about, why we're talking about it, and I want to know more about you.
Sure. So a little bit about me. I have been in IT for about 34, 35 years. I started back in the early 90s. I worked in the first part of my career for a very small factory, and this was like pre-PC in the business days. I was kind of the sole IT guy doing lots of stuff at a little family-owned factory. And I went from there to an ISP who ironically ran out of IP addresses. And this was not like a consumer ISP, it was a business ISP. And they ran out of IP addresses. And because they couldn't figure out how to get more, they started buying checkpoint firewalls to do network address translation in front of customer circuits. And salespeople being salespeople, they turned that into like you know lemons in the lemonade, and they started selling it as a secure internet service. So anyway, we ended up with like thousands of these checkpoint firewalls, and so we had lots of people who know how to manage these things, and that led one thing led to another. We started managing them, and then we would manage them for other people. Then we started training people. Well, at the same time, a not so small company called Internet Security Systems was trying to build their managed security services business unsuccessfully, mind you. So they ended up buying us. We were a little small company, like 100 and something people. They bought us. I kind of banged around inside ISS for a while. I ended up becoming for a little while I was the CIO, but I became director of IT. That company got bought by IBM in 2006, and I had a very fortunate run inside IBM. I was given a chance to build a cybersecurity function for their global outsourcing business. So I was responsible for keeping about 50,000 system administrators from clicking on the wrong stuff, uh, as well as a bunch of regulatory stuff. And then I ended my career there as the chief information security officer of IBM Cloud, where I did that for about 4.5 years. And then the RTO became the popular thing to do, and I decided that I had made enough money and needed a break. So I took some time off, and after 2 years, I'm just starting to get back into the game now.
Okay. Okay. A lot of exposure there. So we are welcoming folks up to interface with Jerry and myself. Come up here, ask your questions. I would like for them to be very targeted questions. Keep it concise. We got a lot of people that would want to ask questions, and keep it tight. Keep it tight. Uh, Jerry, thank you. Let me ask a couple of bozo questions because I keep hearing people say like, is it CISO or is it CISO? Like what I've heard a thousand, uh, both ways 1,000 times. So What's your take on it?
So there are people who pronounce it CISO, and then there are those who are wrong.
There we go. All right, so talk to us. What is for the folks that just first time seeing CISO on the screen? They don't know what we're talking about. You ran through your background. Can you kind of give folks an idea of some of the responsibilities that this individual would do within an organization?
Sure. It's, it is a bit of a flexible position, and it will vary from company to company, but kind of the common thread that runs through it is that you are responsible the for securing the information and the systems of the organization. Sometimes you're responsible for physical security too, or regulations, or risk. There's a lot of kind of add-ons that are very organization dependent. But at its core, you're responsible for securing the IT environment of your organization.
Is it something that's very technical, or is it a non-technical role for the folks that don't know?
So that's also changes a little bit. I know, there are CISOs in smaller companies who are, roughly speaking, managers, right? They are either on their own and they got the title, or they have a small team, and that's kind of a perk of the job. But there are, you know, in larger companies, it tends to be more managerial, right? Because, as I like to say, the most used security tool when you kind of get past a certain point becomes Excel and PowerPoint and Word.
No, I got you. I got you. And I see we have some people coming in. What's up, Mark? Welcome in. What's up, Bliss? I owe you a message there, Bliss. I see you. What's up, that cyber girl? Sock Hoggage, welcome back in. DJ B Sec. If y'all want to come up and interface with us, Angelique, I see you over there. Interface with us, ask questions. If you drop some information in the chat, I'll do my best. But to accelerate you to the front of the line, I always say, feel free to request up. I'll ask a couple of other questions to get the party going. But um, so and if you're not already following Jerry, check out his TikTok. He has a larger presence outside of TikTok. He's not just on TikTok, and also it's not just about security. So you'll see other things that Jerry is into and gets deep into it. So speaking of that, Jerry, can you talk to us a little bit about like the work life balance? Is your world nothing but security, or is it how do you balance these days?
Well, when you operate at that level, especially at a larger company, you are typically paid very well. And I'm not going to lie, it's kind of a trade-off between quality of life and money, right? And so I felt for a long time that my work-life balance was just completely out of balance. Even though that was an often talked about thing. I remember having a discussion with the CEO of IBM at the time. It was shortly after I was given um, my first executive appointment, and this was Ginny Rometty. She was like a force of nature. But I remember she said, you have to take time for yourself because this company will chew you out, or chew you up and spit you out. It's true, right? Like, but at the same time, it's the people who do that kind of are likely to get into that kind of role. So you have to be careful. I mean, it is. I got burned out. I'm not going to lie. I got burned out hard, and but it is. I will say one of the very important things, and I did not take this lesson to heart. I worked for an executive a long time ago, and one of the things he told me, again, I didn't take it to heart, was that you have to find something to pour yourself into that is wholly unrelated to your job. And if it's something that is creative or benevolent, not the right word, right? But involves generosity, it is very helpful because it tends to center you. And so um, I think it's an important thing. It's what I'm doing now. So if you mentioned, if you look at my TikTok page, you will find a whole bunch of stuff about photography. And that's what I kind of balance my life out with now.
Be- Beautiful pieces of work. First of all, let me say that I know that I have been following you since I've started on TikTok and going live. And ever since I saw the different work, that I can tell that you pour an immense amount of attention, creativity, and the craft is there. Like it's beautiful, beautiful work. So check it out. Stunning,
Thank you.
stunning pieces of work there. And keep going because I agree with that. But and you said something that caught my attention. You said something about being appointed to certain roles, and when that appointment comes up, when you're chosen, how do you always say yes, or how do you navigate that? Does it depend?
Um, well, so it's not a surprise, right? So it's not like they come in and abduct you, and the next thing you know, you know, you're at a big desk. That especially at larger organizations, there's a very elaborate process that they will go through because I mean, you not only are they going to pay you a whole lot of money, right, but they're entrusting you with delivering on part of the strategy of the company, right? Like you are kind of somewhat indistinguishable from the company at some level. Like you're responsible for making decisions that impact the company. Like, my budget was like $80 million. I had 200 over 200 employees, and I was responsible for a very large part of that business unit's strategy, which centered on security. So it's a decision that typically goes up all the way up, especially at executive levels, goes all the way up to the CEO. They have periodic drills where they will, kind of vet candidates. But at the end of the day, you have to have somebody in, if especially if you're an internal candidate that's going for promotion, you typically have to have somebody who is influential in the company that is pulling you up, and they're not going to pull you up if they don't think you're going to take it.
Hey, that makes sense. That makes sense. Everyone, we're welcoming folks up. What's up, Gladys? What's up? What's up, everyone? If you have questions, try to drop them in the chat. And I'm doing my best to glance over there, but we have Jerry in the building. And we don't have him for long. We have him for like at least 30 minutes, probably strong 30 minutes. And so if you want to come up and ask those questions, I'll keep firing it away. But this is not the Nate show, so we need others to come participate as well. Jerry, clear this up for me. Clear this up for me because I keep hearing this. Is the CISO the fall guy? Is that the fall guy, or is that something that people say to fear monger and all that?
It sometimes feels like it, right? Because there are companies who will hire a CISO, but and give them the responsibility and accountability for securing the environment, but not give them the means by which to do it. And if that's the case, then it's hard to argue that you aren't a fall guy, right? If you don't, if you are the one who's going to take the blame for something, but you don't have the ability to materially impact the outcome, I don't know what else you how else you would describe it. But I think more often than not, I mean, to be honest, I think, and I'm not, by the way, I don't say this in mean that I had it nailed, right? But I think the reason we hear that a lot is because the people who fill that role don't understand how the role works. They don't understand what it means to be an executive. They don't know how to exert influence in the company and so on.
I like that. I got one more, and I'll let the panel run with it here. When it comes to we've been hearing about virtual CISOs, fractional CISOs, what's your take on it? Are those do you push organizations towards that option, or is that, or do you recommend that they hire, have someone on the inside that's an assigned appointed CISO?
Well, I think certainly if you're able to have an on-staff CISO, that's probably preferable. But I think there's a huge number of companies who just aren't in that position, right? The CISOs are expensive people, and even today in this current market, they tend to demand a fair amount of money because you are expected to deliver quite a lot. So, um, and I don't know that small businesses necessarily need all of a CISO, right? So I think it makes sense for the right companies. So I don't. So all that to say, I don't think it's like a one size fits all answer. I think, like, in concept, I think it makes great sense for a lot of different kinds of companies at a certain size.
I like that. I like that. I want to open up to the panel and give opportunities. Cyber Secrets, you got something over there?
Yeah, I got two if you don't mind. Thanks for having me up. Really excited to talk to you guys tonight. Jerry, you mentioned that, people get pulled up, right? And so I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that. And then also, I don't know if this would be related or separate, but like if you could talk a little bit about the communication, either like training or the communication, um, that's like needed to be in the position that you're in as you're leveling up versus the type of communication you do at the lower levels of tech guy stuff.
Sure, sure. So I'll do the last one, the last question first, mostly because I forgot what the first question was already. Um, so when you are when you are interacting with technical people, and I've managed technical people for a very long time, and so it's kind of my comfort space. Like I know how to interact. I'm super enthralled with technology. I love learning new things, and so like that's where it's kind of my happy place. But you really have to you really have to talk a different talk when you are interacting with other executives and people on up, because they're there to serve a mission, right? And you are part of the solution to their mission, and they are part of the solution to executing your mission. And so at the CISO level, especially in larger companies, again, not every company is the same, but in my experience, the expectation is that you're kind of, I've heard it described, I don't like this word, but kind of collegial. Like the the expectation is that you are working across, when somebody asks me, like, what is the definition of an executive? It is somebody who is able to mobilize the business to accomplish your objective, right? And so, like, I had a team of 200 people, right? It was a lot of people, not nearly enough for what we were trying to do, but it was a lot of people. But my to get what I needed done, I had to motivate the larger organization. And the way I had to do that was by building bridges, establishing effective lines of communication with my peers and people above me. So it's I don't think that there's like one magic nugget I can say. What I will say is that you have to develop an ability to communicate with people where they're at, and certainly executives are executives because they tend to be a little more sophisticated and whatnot. So, like, but they're people, right? Like you've got to figure out how to interact or how to relate to different people because they are all different, and they're all motivated by different things and whatnot. So I it's hard to give like a flat answer to this. Says like, well, you just have to learn how to use fancy words, or but I would say like one of the most important things, and this will serve everybody well, is you need to be able to write well, and I mean really write well, and I don't mean like jamming into Chat GPT. I mean like you need to be able to write well, and I worked for an attorney for like I don't know 10 years. He was a very high powered attorney. Um, and I swear to God, I think he had synesthesia, where you know how people will like blend their senses of smell and sight or whatever. I'm pretty sure that it was painful for him, like physically painful, to look at something and read it if it had bad grammar or misspellings. And so like his perspective on life was what you write is almost always the first thing people learn about you. It's the first thing people know about you. And we all know, because we've been told over and over and over again, about the importance of first impressions. And what we don't really understand is that when we write badly, you know, that is us kind of burning our opportunity at a first impression. So I would say like the first thing to do is learn to write. I am one of the most awkward ass speakers that you'll ever find. Like I have terrible social anxiety. I don't like conflict, but I think that I write fairly well, and I have learned to kind of fake it and push through it and figure out how to how to work with the the people who I needed to influence, and it worked out, right? Worked out for a long time.
I appreciate that. The other question, it was about people that get pulled up. Like, have
Ah,
you got to pull up people, or what do you look for?
yes.
I guess I'll phrase it like this: like, what do you look for in the people that you pull up? I assume it kind of ties in with what you were just talking about, maybe.
So there's there's the lifeboat analogy. This was when you at a big company, IBM was like 100 years old, right? And so they've been around the block, and so they have a lot of processes. I was told once that IBM is what taught the U.S. government how to be bureaucratic. So that gives you perhaps a sense of my context. But um, we had this lifeboat analogy, and the thing was like when you think about who you're going to pull up, you have to think about, if you were stuck in a lifeboat, who would you want with you, right? Because you would want somebody who, is intelligent, can get along with people, is resourceful, is committed to the task, committed to the mission. And so, you know, when you're a leader, you're constantly looking across for other leaders, right? Because again, your objective is as a leader is to help the company deliver on its mission. And part of that is, part of it is like what you're trying to accomplish, but a big part of that is making sure that the company is populated with other competent people who can do the job. And, so from the position of like succession planning, but also I did have executives that worked for me, right? So I had both technical executives and business executives, and for me it was again looking for people who I had developed a sense of kind of deep trust with. I mean, not only like from the perspective of if I ask them to do something, they not only get it done, but like they have an intuition of how to get it done, or they figure it out. I don't know necessarily which it is, right? But they make it happen. And so, the people that I have promoted and I would think the people who perhaps did for me would call me the same thing are like forces of nature, right? They're not just employees. Like they are the people who make it happen, and that's what I looked for. And not everybody's there. There's a lot of people who are very happy doing their job and they do it well, and they should be rewarded. But then there's other people who are just different, and it's hard to explain it better than that.
Yeah, that's where people say like they're built different. Would you say that those like the people that you're looking for can be like created, or really it's like if you don't got it, you ain't got it. Like it's not in you.
I don't know the answer to that actually. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think any of us are like constrained by nature. I think we often have our own. We put a ceiling over our own heads, and we will tend to operate in the box that we think we're sitting in. So I would like to think that anybody could do it, but that's probably a naive thing. I don't know. I, I don't have a
Yeah.
great answer for that.
No, that's fair. That's
Well,
fair. I
I would
appreciate the
like
answers.
to. I would like to also bring in the people who overperform on their current role, though. What are your thoughts on that? People who overperform on their current role. I have often seen them stuck in that role. Nobody wants to promote them because no one's going to do what they were doing because they were kind of the jack of all trades and the best at that. So what's your approach with dealing with this type of situation where okay, if I promote Gladys, she's gonna do well up there as well, but like who's gonna cover for her down here?
So there's a couple thoughts there. So number one, not every manager is good. Okay. And so you will find managers who they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to shake things up. They like status quo. They're very happy. If you were to leave, if Gladys was a high performing person doing the work of two people and she left, I'm gonna have to go replace Gladys, and I'm probably not gonna find another person who could do the job of two people, and I don't have two open headcounts. So like that's gonna screw me. But a good manager is going to say, you know what? It's going to cause me a lot of heartache, but it will be a lot better for the company as a whole if I find a way to elevate Gladys's contributions to the company through, some kind of, you know, promotion, increase in scope, or what have you. And so I would say the managers who are going to do that, think that way, are they're just not they're just not great managers. I mean, they are a manager maybe, but not a great leader. They're not acting in the best interest of the company. Now, um, there's another possibility though, right? And that other possibility is that you might be doing the job of two people, but you might be hard to get along with, or you you know you might have communication issues, or like there may be. I'm not saying, by the way, that you do, just to be very clear. Um, but there may be other factors that the management team sees, which would preclude them from wanting to move you, into something other. That's those are the two things that I would see.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. And oh, another thing is maybe I've seen often that the people who get promoted the most are have this specific skill of always being outstanding. And by outstanding, I mean like taking on project that they really shouldn't, taking on tasks that others are not, and no one really wants to do those things. And so maybe like working things out with third parties and all those things that nobody wants to follow up on. Like kind of when someone steps up and is always doing all of these things, like making sure everything is going well on projects and all that. Those are kind of the skills that are difficult for other people to have because like it's natural. You can't force it.
Hmm.
You
Well, it's a good point. Again, if you think about like what if you're the CEO of a company, right? Do you want to have people reporting to you as senior leadership who just like they clock in, they do their job, and they clock out? Or do you want people who will figure out like there's something that needs to be done? Nobody's doing it. I'm going to go do it. It's those people that you want in influential positions, because not only does it make sure that things get done, but it also models a behavior that you want other people in the organization to have. But so
Yeah.
to answer your question, I think yes, like the people who strive to look for other opportunities to assist the organization are typically the ones that do kind of percolate up to the top. Not only because, by the way, because it shows a deeper interest in the success of the company, but also because it exposes you to other stuff that's happening in the company, which is super important. Like, you know, especially at the executive level, if you just know, like if I just know security and I don't know anything else, I don't know finances, I don't know anything else, I'm not going to be able to do my job, right? And
Yeah.
so, you know, that's it's a very important thing, especially the higher up you go,
Mhm.
the broader your knowledge has to be.
So right. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I got a question that bubbled up, and I just want to say what's up to a couple people. What's up, Phil? What's up, Mark? I see you all in there. Welcome in, welcome in. The script kitty, welcome in, folks. Up. I think I saw Nigel earlier. Chris Tech, y'all welcome in. Feel free to come. I see you hot come over there. Feel free to come up and ask a couple of questions. We only got about less than 15 minutes with Jerry here. Jerry, I got one for you. Here goes one. Best part of being a CISO, worst part of being a CISO.
Ooh. So I'll talk about the worst part. I took my family to Disney World in, I don't even remember when it was. It was sometime around Christmas time, and we walk in the park, and my phone rings, and it's the general manager of Cloud, and he says, "Are you aware of this thing called Log4j?" I didn't have like the rest of my family enjoyed Disney World, so it was it's that sort of thing. And one of the things I liked about it was I made a lot of money, and I'm not shy about that. Uh, I worked a lot. I worked a lot, and I mean to the point where it was straining on my family. One of the things I did was I bought a condo at the beach, and so I could work at the beach, and my wife could be on vacation, right? While I was working, and so the flexibility that comes along with that is good. There's kind of intangibles, like it's a prestigious position, but you know what? It's a really interesting. There's this story about I forget who it was. It was like the Secretary of State. He talks about how when he was in that position, he like people waited on him, and then he was no longer in that position, and like he had to find his own ride to a conference, and he had to fill up his own coffee cup, and it's that sort of thing. Like it is not you, it's the position, right? It's a prestigious position, and you can let it get to your head, and it's important that you don't.
Gotcha. We got Auto Insights, Insight Hub up here. What you got over there? Do you have a comment,
Hey,
experience, or a question?
yeah, what's going on, guys?
Welcome in.
Yeah, I work for Boeing, UK. and I work as a CSOC analyst, well, a lead CSOC analyst. So I kind of wear multiple hats. So, for instance, I do a lot of the vulnerability management. I do a lot of the incident response as well for Boeing UK. So I'm kind of leaning towards the network side of things. So, for instance, I kind of, how do I put it? I kind of like building stuff up. So, like as a network engineer. So, for instance, like building up the network, and I feel like I enjoy that more instead of being like an analyst. So, I was kind of asking for advice, like, you know what I mean? Like, where the company has advised, well, I've kind of advised the company that I want to go towards more of the network side of things. They're going to pay for my CCNA. So what is, like, I've been doing, well, I don't know how to put it, but the question I want to put to you guys is, I want to kind of become like a network security engineer. What is the best path from having 4 years as a CISO analyst experience? How could I, what's the best path that I could go now towards becoming a network security engineer?
So my best advice, especially being in a large company like Boeing, is to try to find how to make friends with people who are in that part of the business, and get them to, to be on the lookout for opportunities. Mainly to see if there's opportunities to help. But I mean, look, this goes across any job, right? I don't care if you're in lawn care or if you're, a CISO. If you've done the job, other people are going to consider you qualified for the job. And so the the first the first thing that you will want to try to do, and the easiest thing, in my opinion, would be to try to find a way to get exposure to that team, the team of people who are doing that at your current company, and see if there's opportunity to support them, to help them. You want to get some face time, and along the way, you're going to learn, hopefully, what they value in terms of that position, because it's kind of an open-ended question. What IBM
Yeah,
wanted
so,
out of a
sorry
network
to interject.
engineer.
I kind of work in parallel with the
Okay.
network team as a CISO analyst. So I've had my ACR recently with my manager, and I've kind of let him know that I want to join the other team, and he's told me that I can kind of shadow the network team. So, you know,
You're in, bro.
Yeah, I keep at it. Just, to the take every opportunity you can to get FaceTime with both the team and the manager over there. You want to get to the point where when there's a new opening over there, the people on that team are recommending you for that position.
And I will add a little bit to that, where you're gonna do that, but also make sure you are actually showcasing your skills. So don't close that to yourself.
Right.
So do other things outside of whatever they're doing, right? So obviously, because you work with them, so you already know the tools that the company uses. So I would go and learn those tools on my own and kind of showcase them outside of work. So you have your LinkedIn profile, right? So you could
yeah, yeah,
start
yeah, yeah.
posting on LinkedIn on things that you're learning, like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Networking is fun, like showing your passion, even doing
Yep.
a short YouTube video and stuff like that. Some people been scared of to come on camera, but it's actually cool when you do that. You just want to be the number one whenever there's something comes up, they'll get to you. I think
Yeah,
that's
100.
cool.
I've been shown my my counterparts that I'm looking at packet tracer on CCN8. So been letting them know that I'm doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, keep
Yeah,
going. I like the direction. I want to get
yeah.
to Dingo. We got 10 minutes, everyone. We got to go fast.
Hey, man.
What you got, Dingo?
Wow. Hey, Jerry. Thank you for everything. You're one of those guys, they got me sort of interested in everything.
Awesome. Good
Um,
to hear.
Mainly because of a really cool comment, because I started TikTok just to, see who was out there. And Jerry asked the question, what's the most important skill in cybersecurity? And I commented imagination, and he commented that was the best question ever. And that started a real rabbit hole thing, because I don't consider myself a hacker, but I like to do a lot of strange things, and hardware hacking and social engineering. I was in early, dial-up internet stuff. But Jerry, thank you, because
You bet.
really,
I'm I'm
I really liked it.
I'm
I had to
that
clap it
is
up for you and cheer it up. That was I didn't prompt
Yeah,
that.
I mean, like, imagination is key.
absolutely.
Just imagine some stuff. If you can't imagine it, step back, try to figure it out. Try to take some things apart, even the network. It all started with Linux, and, you know, Linux is a kind of crazy path once you go into rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm curious
Um,
now, Dingo. That was great. Let's. I want to hear Jerry. Can you respond to the imagination piece? What's your thoughts behind that answer, and whatever comes to mind.
So I for a long time, yeah, I worked in the part of IBM where I had the dubious honor of managing a lot of security incidents for customers, like probably over 2,000 in the course of like 12 years or so. Was ridiculous. And the one common thing that I saw was the fact that people didn't really have enough imagination to understand how things could go wrong. And I'm not, so I'm talking about from the perspective of like IT people who are designing networks. I'm talking about people who are in security roles trying to prioritize, do I do A or do I do B to keep our company secure? It is super important to have to have imagination, and I don't mean like I'm talking very specifically about a couple of cases, but broadly speaking, I think that we have struggled mightily with kind of adopting very rigid frameworks and whatnot, and that has led us to not really contemplating the full range of possibilities, especially on things that can go wrong. And so that was really what I was thinking. And you can take what you want out of the comment that I made about imagination being the most important skill, but like I genuinely think that is at the core of almost everything I saw go wrong.
Wow. And Dingo, if you want to come off mute, I just there was a little bit of background. If you want to finish what you were saying, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I just like Jerry's stuff, and judging by his photographic expertise, he has a lot of imagination. But let's just talk security for 1 minute. I called a company 1 week ago, asking for a job, and I've been all around Europe and don't really want to work for anyone because I don't want to work with anything. I just want to work with my passion, you know? And I love Linux and I'm really good at it. And I called a company where I'm from and thinking about security. I'm not going to mention it. I called the company and asked for a Linux administrator, just simple job compared to security specialists. But in the moment I was interviewed, I have experience with social engineering. I got over 200 servers, all their operating systems, and perhaps some names as well, just by a phone call. Still, a phone call is really dangerous, you know? So, talking and calling and connecting is really dangerous. And this company doesn't even know that I have this information now.
Okay, slow down, slow down, slow
But
down.
I'm not the bad guy.
Slow down, slow down.
But I called them and asked for the information. The person on the other, on the other side, didn't think of me as a threat. But in my head, I thought I was a threat. You know, I don't know why. But be careful, you know, when you
So,
speak to people on the phone, because it's very
absolutely.
easy to confuse a threat. And if you, I'm European, Northern European.
Hey, Dingo, we're getting a lot of uh, frequency and a lot of background. But I got you. I think you landed it. On our way out, Jerry, can you speak to what Dingo is talking about, the social engineering piece, being on a phone call, giving information, not aware of what information you're giving. Can you speak to that as our last piece before we get out of here?
Sure. It's a huge problem. It's a massive, massive problem. It kind of vacillates between that and end user technical attacks as being kind of the most prevalent way for bad guys to get in. But it's super, it's a big problem, right? And we saw this really manifest itself recently as a huge problem with the recent spate of Salesforce breaches, right? Where you had different threat actors pretending to be the IT group of a company, or pretending to be a third party, or pretending to be Salesforce themselves, asking, socially engineering credentials that allowed access to the company or the victim's Salesforce tenant, where they, cleaned it out and then put it up for sale online. So it's a huge problem, and I would say it's getting worse with deep fakes. I mean, we're at the point now where you can kind of do deep fakes real time. There's a lady on here. It's Dr. Jessica Barker, I think. She's been doing a bunch of TikToks where she has, a deep fake of herself where she's portraying somebody else, showing how effective these attacks are, where people can pretend to be your boss, asking you to do things. So I think this is a really big problem, and a lot of companies are going to fall victim. I definitely think it's something that we have to get out ahead of. There are some things you can do to help mitigate it, but it's a hard problem. I mean, and it's getting more difficult. Solving the problem, unfortunately, adds friction into business processes, right? So it's not the most popular thing to do. And my best guess is a lot of companies aren't going to want to, add that friction into the mix until after they've been a victim.
Yeah. Great points. I think we're gonna end it, everyone. I'll give you everyone a moment to follow some of the folks that's on the panel. Dingo, so glad you came up and recognized. We had Jerry on. I didn't plan that. That was completely
Thank you,
authentic.
Dingo.
Yeah, that was super cool. And so Jerry does have a presence outside of TikTok, and it's a nicely well painted presence. So very respected in this space, and I'm glad that Jerry, you took some time to speak with us. I'm glad Cyber Secrets and Gladys had an opportunity to also layer in some couple of questions. Follow Jerry, everyone. Check him out on other platforms, and follow Gladys and Cyber Secrets as well. Dingo, I see your page. You're doing some amazing things, bro. I'm gonna connect with you offline to see what else you have going on over there. On our way out, Jerry, can you give us some last words that maybe you hadn't had the opportunity to say? Anything that would resonate with the audience here?
Uh, gosh, take care of yourselves. You know, I sincerely mean that, right? Take care of yourselves. I have spent the last 2 years trying to regain my health, and it's been an uphill struggle. It gets away from you much faster than you can think. Go to go to therapy, drink your water, take your vitamins, get your exercise, do all the things, but be good to yourself.
I like that. Work-life balance, everyone, mind, body, spirit, whatever it is that you believe in. Please find your center, find your foundation, find your roots, get stable, and that's important. Reach out to your family, friends, get in touch with them, ensure that they are also in good shape over there. Jerry, thank you so much. You're always welcome back anytime. I love seeing that llama come up and on the screen, and it's always like always go time now. So. Thank you so much, and I wish everyone a great, safe weekend and afternoon, and we'll see you next time.